Oh. Go ahead and. Okay, welcome to the regular meeting, Guadalupe City Council, July 22nd, 2025. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Acosta Jr. is absent. Councilmember Fernez. Here. Councilmember Villegas. Here. Councilmember Hernandez. Here. And Mayor Julian.
Here. We have a quorum. Will you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item 3, is a moment of thanks, appreciation, or condolences. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on that? No? Good. I just wanted to, on the appreciation, I wanted to thank Public Works staff for all that they're doing. I know that, and this ties into that beautification that we're getting into, that one of the cornerstones entering Guadalupe, the monument, they've been fixing that up. So just that little bit helps make the city look a lot better. So thank the staff for that. The next item is agenda review. Is there any council that wishes to change the order of business as stated on our agenda?
Nope.
Nope. All right, next item is ceremonial calendar, oath of office. Charlene Estabillo, and if she didn't bring any bread.
Zucchini.
Zucchini bread. Okay. Yes, city treasurer. Charlene, will you go ahead and Judy's gonna hit. Okay.
Okay, you'll raise your right hand, please. And repeat after me. I, Charlene Estabillo, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the United States of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I will take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Want to say a few words, Charlene?
Say a few.
No, you don't have to, but welcome. Go ahead, say a few words, please.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's going to be great working with some of these people that I haven't met before, but I know just about everybody. Of course, I've been around a long time, but it's going to be nice to meet all of you and get to know you more. So thank you again.
Well, for the sake of the city of Guadalupe, thanks for stepping up to fill that position. So
Yes.
thank you. Next item, presentation, Central Coast Community Energy Annual Update. Mr. Brandt Spencer. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Julian and council members. My name is Spencer Brandt, and I am the Community Relations Manager for Central Coast Community Energy, or 3CE. And I'm here today to give you the annual report from Central Coast Community Energy. Next slide, please. So for a little background, 3CE is the public agency that sources electricity for communities all along the Central Coast. So we work in partnership with PG&E, and they continue to manage the transmission and distribution of energy to customers. Our role is to purchase the electricity from generation projects like wind, solar, and geothermal. 3CE services 30 cities across 5 counties, and that totals 1.2 million people. This January, we added our 2 newest member agencies, the City of Atascadero and the County of San Luis Obispo. Next slide, please. In total, in 2024, we delivered 409 megawatts of renewable electricity to Central Coast customers, enough to power 350,000 homes. By doing so, we've avoided over 445,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Next slide, please. And 3CE is on a path to deliver 100% clean and renewable energy, 10 to 15 years ahead of the state mandates. So by October of 2028, we have contracts secured to provide 64% of our electricity load with renewable sources. Next slide. A really critical component of making that transition to carbon-free energy successful is battery storage. At the utility scale, what battery storage does is it allows us to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels during peak hours when energy is most expensive. And for customers, home batteries can provide a really critical source of backup power, especially as we know our region has struggled with wildfires and other natural disasters. Those batteries can act as that additional element of redundancy. And on the next slide, I want to demonstrate a little bit of how that works at the utility scale. So you may remember Labor Day weekend in 2022. This was a really hot weekend. In fact, this is the last time that California had a flex alert or a statewide call to reduce energy consumption. This was an emergency, and it was up to us to reduce our energy consumption to avoid rolling blackouts. This is what the energy mix looked like in California that day. You'll see the red bar in the middle, the largest, that is fossil fuels. You see green below that, that's renewable energy. It's a smaller but growing portion. And then at the very bottom, you'll see, it's kind of hard to see, but it's an orange line that goes below the line. That's batteries, and that's batteries charging up. Then at the top of the graph, as we move to the right later in the day, you'll see batteries appear again at the top, that orange. That's batteries being discharged onto the grid. Now, on the next slide, let's compare this to a very similar heat event that we also may remember. This was July 4th weekend last year, another major heat event, but this time there wasn't an emergency. You can see why. Batteries have grown by, but they more than tripled in terms of how much they're contributing to the grid. And they're charging up in the morning and then deploying in the evening, helping us avoid the expensive type of power that happens when we have to turn on the natural gas peaker plants later in the day. So I wanted to show this to help give you an idea of just how electricity consumption habits change during the day and how the mix changes too. Next slide. We received a lot of questions at 3CE about energy storage and questions from community members about safety. And so I like to show this graph as well, which gives you an idea about the global rate of battery deployment across the world. And you'll see that the safety data is encouraging. System failures have dropped 98% since 2018, even as global battery deployment has increased by more than 25,000. At 3CE, when we contract with battery energy storage system facilities, those projects have to use containerized systems that have fire suppression units. And those projects also have to meet the latest fire and building code requirements, which are different than some of the projects that you may have seen in the news earlier this year in Monterey County that experienced a failure. At 3CE, our role is not to be the building authority or the land use authority, but we do get a lot of questions from community members. So I appreciate you indulging me as I kind of explain the utility of batteries to our grid. Next slide. Some of the projects that we have under development, the Willow Rock Energy Storage Center will be, once it's complete, the largest compressed air storage project in the world. And It will use compressed air to power turbines on demand. And once it's completed, it will provide 200 megawatts of energy to our customers for use during that critical 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. peak hour time. Next slide. We also have a number of exciting projects coming online soon. Aratina Solar will provide 120 megawatts of power to 90,000 homes. That'll be one of the largest solar and storage projects in North America. Atlas Solar is coming online next year, and Victory Pass Solar and Storage began delivering energy to our customers last March. Next slide. And at 3CE, we know that delivering power is only part of the equation. Connecting with communities is a key part of 3CE's mission. In 2024, our outreach team engaged across the region, sponsoring events, hosting webinars, and leading workshops about our energy programs. To better serve the diversity of our region, we've added bilingual staff, expanded translated materials, and we've created an action plan to support underserved communities. We've also partnered with community-based organizations, and our customer service hotline is capable of providing assistance in over 150 languages, including English, Spanish, and Mixteco. Next slide, please. 3CE's energy programs provide our customers with tools to electrify and put money back in our community's pockets. Our flagship program that you may have heard of is Electrify Your Ride, and it provides between $1,000 and $4,000 for the purchase of a qualifying new or used electric vehicle. This same program also provides funding for charging stations at home, and commercial properties are eligible as well. In fact, we have a webinar tomorrow at 11 a.m. for commercial property owners about how they can access this funding and how they can plan for charging at their site as sort of an economic development tool. I have some flyers that I'll leave with your clerk later. Additional programs that we have also cover the cost of electrifying home appliances, installing a home battery, as well as targeted money to support our agricultural sector. Next slide, please. We also have programs specifically in place for public agencies to help cover the cost of replacing fleet vehicles, including everything from light-duty pool cars to heavier-duty equipment like street sweepers. The Charger Fleet program provides up to $150,000 per year for EV chargers, including up to $100,000 per DC fast charger. These chargers are also, they can serve both city municipal vehicles and the public as well. Our electric bus program is something you may be familiar with, as the city of Guadalupe was a recipient. And finally, our Reach Codes program provides technical assistance for city staff to develop energy efficiency standards. Next slide. So all of this amounts to, since 2018, 7,000 of our customers across our service territory have received rebates through our clean energy initiatives. That's $11 million back in our customers' pockets. Over $4 million of that was for income qualified customers and underserved communities. Next slide. And I'm sure you're wondering how the city of Guadalupe measures up when it comes to utilizing those rebates and programs. So I provided a breakdown here. We've also included statistics from a benchmark jurisdiction to give you a sort of point of comparison. I mentioned that you'll see on the slide one project where 3CE was able to contribute funding towards an all-electric zero-emissions bus for Guadalupe public transportation. And I'd also like to call attention to the great success that we're seeing in our residential customers utilizing the Electrify Your Home program. Up to $300,000 is also available per year for the city to install chargers, including purchasing electric vehicle chargers and doing a fleet replacement plan with our technical assistance team. That includes everything from collecting data on the existing vehicles in the city's fleet to drafting a vehicle replacement plan, planning for procurement, and assisting with the charging infrastructure planning as well. We really try hard to make it as easy as possible for our member agencies to utilize these programs. Next slide. And lastly, I want to close with a timely legislative update. You and your constituents have likely heard about the federal legislation, HR 1, otherwise known as the Big Beautiful Bill Act, and this has immense consequences for energy customers. First, it eliminates individual tax credits for new and used electric vehicles after September 30th of this year. And it eliminates tax credits for home energy upgrades after the end of this year. And so because our customers often stack the funding that we can provide with these tax credits, that means that time is of the essence. If people are thinking about making that electric vehicle purchase, if they're thinking about making that home energy upgrade with a heat pump water heater, or if they're thinking about installing a home battery, now is really the time to do that. There is a sense of urgency. And then when it comes to the projects that 3CE contracts with on your behalf to serve our customers, the generation projects, the tax credits are going away for wind and solar. And what that is going to result in sort of the medium term is energy prices rising, because wind and solar are still cheaper to deploy than natural gas alternatives. But without this additional source of funding and sort of the uncertainty that has been created, there is some questions about how quickly these projects can get scaled up and actually built. Lastly, what are we doing at the state level to try to combat this? 3CE and our trade association, CalCCA, have sponsored the Pathways Initiative, which would create a regional electricity market with California and 10 Western states. It would allow us to buy and sell energy so that California could sell the excess solar that we have during most of the daytime in the non-winter months to other states, and be able to potentially buy and sell and trade power with other states that might have it in abundance at different times of the day when we don't. And so that's just a quick little legislative update. And with that, on the last slide, I just want to thank you again for allowing me to present our annual report. This is my contact information for members of the public, or for you if you ever have any questions. And I'm happy to answer any questions from your council now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Sure.
The Willow Rock, where is that located?
That project is located in Kern County.
Kern County. Okay, thank you.
What's go ahead. What's the latest on the Napomo battery storage area? Do you have any idea on that?
So I don't have the most up-to-date information on that project, since it's not a project that we have a power purchase agreement with.
Okay. Not yet, anyway, huh?
We do not have a power purchase agreement with that project.
Right.
I can speak in generally about sort of a question about batteries, but I don't know about that project.
Okay, thank you. That other location on your, so the compressed air, can you explain a little bit about that? That compressed air process, and where's that located?
Yeah, so that project is located in Kern County. It's a
Okay.
advanced.
Okay, that's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
advanced compressed air energy storage project. So unlike a lot of the battery projects that you have maybe heard about here on the Central Coast or in other places, this isn't a lithium iron phosphate battery. This is a compressed air battery, which essentially the compressed air, after it's compressed, it gets released to power turbines that supply the electricity.
Okay.
And it's the turbines that compress the air fire up when we have abundant energy on the grid, which is during that renewable time, that time between sort of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. when there's almost some days 100% carbon-free energy on the grid, and then use it during 4 to 9 when we need it most.
Okay. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
The Pathways Initiative, you said there's 10 Western states. Can you name the states?
Yes. It'd be easier if I had a map in front of me.
I know,
but it's,
it's like California, Oregon, Washington.
so California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho.
Nevada.
Nevada. That's the
Nevada?
one that I missed.
Okay, I didn't count them, but I was just so it's all of us here on the west side are getting together and doing that. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Christina?
Thank you for your presentation. Is there a flyer that we can share with our community?
Absolutely. I'm happy to share with you this flyer here. This is for our Power Up Your Property webinar that we're hosting tomorrow at 11 a.m. with energy experts. It's really geared towards commercial property owners to help them learn about the different rebates that we make available to install EV chargers at their businesses. as well as learn about how they can get technical assistance to actually make that happen. I'm also happy to share some flyers about our other programs that were mentioned in the presentation. Electrify Your Ride, as I mentioned, is a really popular program, and time is of the essence to be able to stack this program with the federal incentives before they go away on the 30th.
Perfect. Can you send that via PDF to us?
Absolutely. I'm happy
Okay,
to do that.
thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Okay. Billy, that you good? Staff, any questions? Community out there, any questions? None? Thank you for your presentation. And where are you holding that meeting tomorrow? Is that Zoom or is that
This is a webinar that is on Zoom.
that's a
correct.
webinar? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
All right. The next item is Community Participation Forum. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on an item that's not on the agenda? I have several to speak on item 13, but I see no hands, no forms, so we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. These items are presented as approval without discussion, a single agenda item. Is there a council person that wishes to pull an item?
I do.
Okay, please.
Let's see, B and, let's see, E.
B and D.
D or E?
E. E.
C.
Earl.
Earl.
Easy.
Where's Earl at? Okay. Okay, we'll put B and E. B as in B,
B as in boy.
E. Okay. That's it. Okay. Is there, okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the balance of the consent calendar?
I make a motion to approve the balance of the consent calendar.
I'll second.
A second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all eyes on that, so Ms. Villegas,
Yeah, let's see. Finance, Janice. See, on this page 6, JPIA, there was a payment of 58,200. What were the policies that payment covered?
I believe that one is the property tax and the crime insurance, I want to say. Let me
Was
double check.
workers' comp under that too?
No, that one is, it's a big one, that the workman's comp.
Is
comes
that on
under.
a different cycle? Because this is,
No, it was either on the last warrant or it had just been paid.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's property and 58,000 is for property, and is it general
No,
liability?
let me get that. One second.
Oops.
I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, get me all flustered when I come. Let's see. What is the prepaid for property and crime? I was right. Property and crime.
Crime prevention?
Um,
Is that what you said?
it just says crime, so I'm assuming it's crime prevention.
Okay. So workers' comp was separate, and then we have general liability as well. That's separate.
So workman's comp and the annual contributions are, which I'm assuming you're considering general is was paid. We just processed. I want to say it was the last, that one's like 600,000.
Okay. Thank you. And then one other one, Janice,
Yes.
on page 24, on the very bottom, it has, what is it? Regular cleaning for the month of July, $312. But then also on page 23, there's the split of cleaning as well with is it a different company? I'm
It
not
is a
understanding
different
where the two-
company, but the one that is JE Cleaning
Right.
is the one that does the City Hall.
Right.
And then there's someone that does just the gym. And
Okay,
that's through a
that's
different
what this
company.
said,
Mhm. And that's
okay.
the 312. Yep. And that gets reimbursed by the school.
Gotcha. Okay. And Chief, I had one for you. Can't get away with that. Let me see. This is probably an easy one. I just don't understand it. Where's my thing? On page 8, cardio partners, $9,340. AED plus package pass cover.
Yes, AED, that's the heart defibrillators.
Right. yeah.
And I think those are the ones that we had to either replace at the vets and here at City Hall.
The covers are the actual equipment.
Yes. No, that's the whole package. I'm sorry, yes. And that's the pads and the whole
Okay,
package.
got it. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's it. Thanks. Oh, what was the other one? E. This was the reappointment of the Rec and Parks Commission terms, where it was being cleaned up, which I understand, and that makes sense. And the way it's worded here is that 3 of the commissioners are having their term retro, and then it's ending October 2 years from now. And then reappointing Michael for a 4-year term beginning October 30th and ending 2025 and ending October 29, 2029. So you're just reestablishing the terms as opposed to these people committing to remaining for that period of time, right? It's just reestablishing the terms.
If I understand your question, Councilmember Villegas, yes. They, as it says, the terms, they overstayed their,
Oh, no, I understand.
their terms. Okay.
So the way I initially read it was all of the commissioners had the 4, because there's one vacancy, had committed to the next term, but that's not the case. You're just extending it, and should one of them resign, that term still exists.
Yes, correct. I
that's-
mean,
that's all.
I assume the commissioners wanted to stay on and
I assume too.
because they might have told us that they didn't want to stay on after we were extending their terms or clarifying that their terms have been extended.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
I'd like to separate these, if I may. Is there a motion to approve item B in the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve B.
I'll second.
There's a second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
And then we'll go to the item E. Is there a motion to approve item E?
I'll make a motion to approve item E.
I'll second.
There's a second and a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Thanks for this questions. I assume that the council will just want us to use the standard process for obtaining potential applicants for the right, the vacant
vacancy.
position. Right.
Thank you.
I think that there was we had a meeting with the writing group last when was it? Yeah, and there's one young lady that really stood out as talking about the trails. Anyway, I don't know who that was, but my opinion is that we need to get a young individual on so that we can pick up what the vibes are in terms of what the youth need. So look for someone. Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to management reports. Todd is watching the Dodgers get beat tonight, but is there?
No, the Twins are losing.
This, are you, David, picking that up, or is there, the report is before us, so is there questions on the management report? So this is information only, so we'll go to, is there any questions from the public in the management report on administrator? Nothing. Oh, what?
Excuse, never mind, never mind.
Are you looking for 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
We don't have that here, so
Okay.
we'll just move on and catch up with him next time. Item 10, the Director of Public Safety, Chief Cash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council,
Thank you.
staff, and citizens. Let me go through real quick. As far as police, right now, we're calculating the fines for the fireworks. We'll have that out hopefully by the end of next week. I'll leave for my colleague from Public Works to talk about our safe school. We've been meeting on that. And as far as the fire department, we've been meeting as far as planning and Public Works with some of the bicyclists and looking to do an upgrade in our camping, and they were willing to pay. So we see this as a simple but nice revenue stream. Talking with a lot of the cyclists, and we want to really kind of push that. They'd like to make it kind of a destination. And so would we. They bring money with them. That's always nice. As far as emergency preparedness, we just received the emergency preparedness supplies from Montecito. They were dropped off today. So we have over 34 CERT backpacks, helmets, vests, and so forth. So they dropped those off today. So we have to inventory and then see how we're going to put those in pre-designated locations to be able to respond to emergencies. Code compliance, we're still working on trying to get a fee ordinance to city council. I got to do a staff report on that, and also a parking permit parking ordinance I have to get back. We have to upgrade the one that's on Guadalupe, and we're looking at one. My partner will talk about the other one for the school. And also we're looking at the generators should be here in August. We have the platforms out there, so it's a matter of, and they've already inspected the electrical aspect of this and how they're going to install them. So we're just waiting for them to get here in August. And that's my report.
Any questions of Chief?
I did have a quick question. I know that the Escalante Meadow incident was on like Facebook, everybody was streaming it live. And I seen that there's 2 firefighters there at the incident. What does that look like for our community if we were to like have an incident in town? Do we have like what does that look like on call? What is the response time? Just because I know if we have 2 firefighters dispatched to one area, what does that look like for our community?
I'm assuming you're asking if all our resources are committed to something else,
Yeah,
what would be the backup?
yeah.
Okay. One is we do have callback capabilities. And so if something like that happens, if we feel there's going to be a commitment like that, we would put people on standby. And the other is mutual aid. As you saw with the Escalante, we had Santa Maria came, the sheriff's department came, CHP was also notified of that. So, and then with our new fire dispatching services, they would, if we did have something where our firefighters were committed to one scene, that call automatically goes to the other nearby fire stations and they would respond here.
Got it. So on call, do we have anybody or that automatically goes to the dispatch?
Oh, no, that comes through me. So if we have something that is committed, and we've done it before where, you know, I keep a phone list of everyone who's available. And if I need to call people back, then I'll make that phone call.
Got it. So how many do we have on call if we do have an incident on call?
Well, there's nobody that's on standby. If you put them on
Got it.
standby,
Okay.
then per HR, we have to pay them. So we have a callback and they sign that when they become part of public safety, that they are subject to any emergency callback.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
we've activated for the floods that we had a couple of years ago and so forth.
Thank you so much for that clarification. I know that some individuals are kind of uneasy with the new school opening, and I've had a wide range of questions. And so I was just curious on if there was an incident, what would that look like for our community? So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, it's probably a good time to talk. I know that we had a meeting with the school district and quite a few people were here talking about the school opening, their opening. The ribbon cutting is August the 5th. The August the 12th is the opening, school opening. So in a nutshell, can you talk about what's going on with what they decided to do? I know you've been working with individuals, so has David.
I'm kind of excited, but I'm gonna leave it for Dave because we've been meeting. It's Public Works, Planning, and Public Safety. We've had our own meetings to discuss this. So if I can turn it over to Dave, and I'll include whatever you might miss.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city. So we've kind of got together and we just kind of came up with a rough plan based on the meetings that we had the other day with Caltrans and the developer. It kind of seems that the city is going to have to take lead on providing any kind of safety aspect for the children that will be going to the school versus the school actually participating in that. So we're just kind of getting a rough game plan, but it looks like as of right now, we're going to try to put signage around Arroyo Seco to limit parking during certain times, specifically drop-off pickup timeframes. There was an idea of red curbs and all this kind of stuff, but in the essence of trying to stay fiscally responsible, trying to paint everything and all this kind of stuff, that money will add up super quick. So we're trying to move away from that. We are going to try to put some kind of directional signage, things for like buses one way, drop-offs one way, things of that nature to kind of direct flow, kind of like Chief Cash's original plan to try to filter everybody through one specific flow. And then we're going to try to do some kind of permit parking as soon as we can get some kind of code going for the homes that are on Manzanita, to limit the ability for people coming through maybe the wrong direction or what have you, trying to park in front of people's homes for drop off. And then we are going to red curb the south side of Manzanita to prevent people from parking there and, creating some kind of serpentine flow for people trying to create a drop off. And then I think the big one will be talking with Chief, putting speed bumps. We're going to speed bump Arroyo Seco and Obispo, and then try to get Manzanita as well. Granted, this is all coming out of our budget, so it's going to be maybe hit and miss in the beginning, maybe a little bit this year, a little bit next year, and so on and so forth. And then creating a three-way stop also in front of the school. And going with Caltrans's plan of school zones 300 feet either direction of the school, try to throw some signage, school zone ahead, things like that, just to kind of make people more aware. That's
And the overall scheme is we're making the school take responsibility for right at the school. And we're going to take responsibility for outside the school as far as where the major traffic's going to be. So as far as fire and police for that first week, we'll be at the cemetery crossing walk right there, and also at Obispo and Main. We're redoing our flashing sign to go school zone, which Caltrans says that we can put there. They said I can put a car on there, but we'd rather have the sign so we can slow people down as they get to Obispo. So we will handle that outside area. And with the signage that David's talking about, we'll have the buses going down Arroyo Seco and hopefully have the parents go down the Obispo area and kind of come through. And we'll have all the kids walking. And then hopefully I was going to ask the school, they have between 5 and 4 crosswalk personnel at Mary Buren. But they told us they cannot put a crosswalk person away from the school. Well, we were sitting here talking, we have one at 11th and Guadalupe, which is not near the school.
Now, they talked about being able to move that one. Are they going to move that individual?
That's what we're going to ask, that they move
Okay.
at least 2 over to that site.
Right.
So they have one over at Mary Buren, they have one over at McKinsey. So they should at least be able to have 2 over at this new school.
Right.
So if they assist on that, we have the streets with the slowing traffic, with the speed bumps, with the signage to make people not park in certain areas. So we're trying to make sure we take care of the residents that live there, giving easy access to the parents that are going to be doing the drop off. And because we have that school and I'm calling it preschool, I don't know the
Learning
right
center.
terminology,
TK, yeah.
the TK,
or the learning
that
center, the learning
creates
center,
a
yeah.
real big headache, but trying to make sure that the residents are not going to be super impacted. And then we also, so we have the parents, we have the buses, and we have a lot of kids that are going to be walking. But as soon as we get them across Maine and Obispo, at least we like to look at that we're decreasing injuries by that method.
I know that, I think Jeff was there. We had quite a few city staff there. Bill was there. And we had about 7 or 8 Caltrans people here. It was good that they were here. So at that meeting, we actually started digging into who was supposed to do what, when, and how. And the Flower Street eventually is going to go across, which is the second opening, so people can eventually go out that way. But that's not happening until the 2026. 2026,
Yeah, I think it's at least
summer
2 years.
2026.
Yeah. About the same time they signalize Obispo.
Exactly, the
and
same
166.
process, yeah. So we were looking at, I know that Jeff and David and everybody else is looking at paperwork in terms of who's responsible for what. You know, the individual was saying, this should have happened 3 years ago, and it's, it probably should have, but not knowing where the funds are coming from, it's kind of hard to deal with that. So the goal is to protect the kids, the traffic. I see people shooting across from Obispo going north. They don't even stop. They just, because they want to get in front of the traffic that's going to Santa Maria. So it's going to be a tough one, but we're going to need everybody's cooperation in that. So especially the school and the drivers and the families. So they talked about the buses. I think there's only 2 buses in the whole school system. So you're going to have 200 and something 7th and 8th graders coming, and they're going to be walking. So the learning center, the parents are going to be driving, and they're going to be, as we know, they're going to be parking, and they can't drop the kids off. They have to actually hand carry the kids or walk the kids to the learning center, which doesn't open until the end of the year, right?
Yes, sir. I believe they're expecting a January timeframe.
Okay.
And I think school is actually going to start like an hour before the ELC.
Right.
And August 14th, I think, is the first day of school there
For
for the middle school.
okay.
I think like the first week, the week before is staff only. and
Right,
then-
okay,
and then-
yeah, all right. But it's gonna be in August. It's gonna be hot and heavy in August, so. Any questions from council or community?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Who's taking the lead on safety initiatives for the city? For the safety plan
For the,
Yeah,
you said a safety
or the
fund?
initiative? Who's taking this initiative from the city to make sure that the safety plan is moving forward?
It's going to fall on me.
Okay, I just wanted to make that
Did you
clear.
want to volunteer?
No,
Okay.
no, I think Chief is the perfect person.
Thank you.
I just wasn't sure because he answered, so I was like, who's taking the initiative? So I just want to clarify, you're taking that initiative. Okay. And then I just wanted to echo how important it is. I know that you said mentioning some type of permits for that this plan is actually shared with the parents. Just because there's going to be parents frantic that day before, and this communication should go out to them 2 weeks prior to that.
Yeah, no, we have a little map that we got the last meeting, but because this has been a rush, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
So we're trying to put these things on a map. And then we wanted to really have a meet with the people that were in that meeting, at least the mayor and the school, so they can buy off on this and they could see it. And then we want to try to do some test runs to really be honest, because it's going to be a heavy impact on the city, us. And once we get that down, the school's already committed to try to do the marketing as best as possible to get everything out. So we're hoping that we touch all those bases, and I'll throw it out. Any help is always welcome.
Have they laid any pavement down there, David, or do you know? I know they're prepping the parking lot, so.
The only area I've seen that got any kind of pavement was the north side of the school. I think kind of going into like, I guess it's the fire entrance.
Right, okay.
There's two approaches right there that have been paved.
Okay, all right.
but
Just
that's it.
recent then, okay.
Yeah, that was last week, I
Okay,
believe. But and this whole thing, it's it's a rush, and I mean we're kind of shooting from the hips here,
Exactly, yeah.
trying to get something out there. So I mean,
well, it's interesting to hear the speed bumps, because that was always, I know that people wanted those speed bumps. So how many, do we know how many, or where they're gonna be located? Or
well,
if you don't have the information, that's fine, but there's
well,
gonna be.
we're
speed-
expecting that we could get at least 40 to 50 in that whole area,
Speed
different
bumps?
locations.
Wow, okay,
But I mean, speed bumps themselves are only so wide.
right.
So
You go-
the
yeah.
quantity is actually just to cover distance, not necessarily that many different
Okay.
locations specifically.
All right, cool.
And just so you know, I know for sure there's individuals that are watching that have requested speed bumps in their area. And I will hear about this as soon as this meeting is over, that they want theirs.
Oh, we talked about that before, and one of the things, this is a special situation with the school, that this particular thing, and what we talked about before is that if somebody wanted a speed bump, they would pay for it. If it's a street, say Campodánico, or somebody else that wants a speed bump in front of their house, because we don't have the resources to do this. This is kind of an emergency situation where we gotta calm the traffic, based on it's gonna be close to 400 kids going there. That doesn't include teachers. So that's a lot, so. Okay, thank you. No further question, I'm sorry.
Chief,
Yes, ma'am.
on a completely separate subject, there was an article on the Board of Supervisors, their last meeting, and Chief, excuse me,
Sheriff?
thank you, Sheriff's Office, Brown. There was a comment in the article, and I wanted you to respond to it if you could. It has to do with the immigration issue. It says, in an effort to set the record straight, Brown reiterated that the Sheriff's Office does not participate in immigration enforcement, including assisting with ICE operations, and then quote, nor do we interfere with those operations, unquote, he said. The public didn't hold back, however. They repeatedly lambasted local leadership, including law enforcement, for failing to protect local residents from federal agents and call for more location action. So my question, Chief, is what the Sheriff's Office is doing, that's what our police staff is doing? Or is it different?
Maybe you need to kind of define that question a little bit more as far as, because I don't know exactly what they're doing.
I would
And,
I'm just reading off of this, if you can respond to this, where he says, Brown reiterated that the Sheriff's Office does not participate in immigration enforcement,
Yes.
including assisting with ICE operations, nor do we interfere with those operations.
Yes, we're working with our city attorney, and just to be as direct as we possibly can, we have never, as a police department here, participated in immigration apprehension or any kind of immigration enforcement. But if someone does break the law, then with California laws, penal codes, then they will be processed like we process anybody else. We do not ask for status. And if there's a warrant, we're looking at the warrant as far as being a criminal code violation. And if it's something that we would normally arrest on and be able to transport somebody on. So it's a real fine line. I've heard that, and I've heard the pushback saying, well, as far as I guess I put in the terms fighting ICE as far as law enforcement. You're never going to see that, I pray to God, in America. But my first duty is for the welfare of the citizens of this community, and that'll be my first responsibility.
So in terms of the warrants, you would act on a judicial warrant as opposed to, what do you call it, immigration warrant?
The chiefs of California, we have communicated amongst ourselves as far as there's two types of warrant. There's a civil type warrant and there's an arrestable felony type warrant. But if the warrant has a criminal charge of penal codes, then we're going to enforce that. Okay. And so any other warrant, because I've been asked this question, is do we have discretion depending on what we come across? Police officers always have discretion. If it's in the best interest of the community, if it's in the best interest of the law, then that's what we're going to do. And if we have the resources to kind of do that. And I've seen there's certain, I think it's what, AB 5, I forgot the number on it. SB 54, yeah, that should be brain in my head. That does make some limitations, but having the ability to have that discretion is huge in how we protect the community. If we look to limit that, then that ties our hands in protecting the community.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. No further questions, council? Then we'll move on to item 11, Recreation Services Manager, informational. You're on. Well, if you don't have a report, don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but you're on the spot. Yeah, really. You.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, city staff, and community. So month for June, we saw this actually was my first month in employment under the city. So I didn't really have any thing to go off of prior to. But we kind of look to just jump into the community calendar, starting off with family movie night, which went okay, to say the least. Had some technical difficulties, but overall, very learning experience. And that led into our kite festival, the city's first, which I felt was a really great turnout. We had we had 60 kites that were DIY craft. All of them were utilized. We had 25 plus vendors. We had a few resource booths. We had 5 bounce houses. And it was a really cool thing to see. It was actually a perfect day weather-wise. And it was high time Guadalupe had an event that was calling for the wind. So it was and it was sunny, beautiful. The fog didn't even really roll in. So it was a great day, and to see all the kites being flown, there was this kind of just, I don't know, it was really cool to see. So we look to repeat that next year. And then we had a poetry jam this last Friday, which was great. We've been kind of maintaining numbers around about 20 people. I think this time we had almost about 30. I'd say half returning, half new, which is always great to see. Seeing the word spread out, and just seeing it develop. I feel like I've seen community members really open up. We've been holding it since 2021, and yeah, to see people just open up, get emotional, just providing that safe space for the community is something that is invaluable. And we look to just move forward and gather more people to attend. And we do that every other month. So the next one would be in September. And then this Saturday, we have two events happening. We have the 5K run and walk, which is led by the Guadalupe School District and is also a fundraiser for the school district. The registration is going to be at 7:30 in the morning all the way till about 8:30, and the run's going to start at 9. It's 5K. You don't have to run. You could walk it out. And there will be a health and wellness festival happening at Mary Buren. Kiwanis will be providing pancake breakfast, which if you'd like to purchase a breakfast, come hungry. As well as in the evening, we'll be having a classics movie night here at the City Hall. Doors at 7, movie at 7:30. This movie night is separate from the family movie night. These movies can vary in ratings, but is more geared towards the cinema lover and kind of expanding your cinema universe. Stuff that you typically wouldn't really choose. That's more curated. I'm really looking forward to it. This Saturday we're screening The Wild One featuring Marlon Brando. Great black and white one. And that's pretty much it for now.
Any questions of?
Quick question, Arnulfo, on the race this Saturday. Is the registration at the start of the race, or is it somewhere else? Where to pay the fee and everything?
It is at the start. I believe it's off Peralta, in the back of kind of the church. It's the Rancho Guadalupe. Their fields. Yeah, it would be at the start right there.
That's where, okay, no
Mhm.
pre-payment, pre-registration, I should say. It's all just on that day.
Yeah, all day of starting at 7:30.
Okay, thanks.
Are you cooking, Charlene? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's good breakfast. I don't know if you want to eat and then run, but okay, okay. Okay, after, okay, yeah, you start at 10, right? Yeah, good. All right, cool. Charlene's part of the Kiwanis, so. All right, thank you. Any questions of Arnulfo?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, the next item is a public hearing, Guadalupe Lighting District, Jeff.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the City Council and members of the community. The item that we have for you today is for holding a public hearing for the Guadalupe Lighting District. The Guadalupe Lighting District covers the entirety of the city, anywhere there's a light poles, except for a couple of communities areas what are covered by their own assessment. This year, or for the last 5 years, the rates we've kept the rates consistent. However, going over all of the fees, the electrical fees, they've gone up substantially since 2019. So the rates do increase slightly. As a point of reference, though, the rates are actually less than when the district was first brought into the city in 1995. So our rates right now, our yearly annual rates for the Guadalupe Lighting District are actually less than they were in 1995. So anyway, we need to hold a public hearing on the new fees, and then these will go on the tax rolls. As an example, there was a table down at the bottom so you could see, whereas in 2015, 2016, like a heavy commercial was $134 for the year. And for this year, it's only $46 compared to $134 back in 2015. So significantly less, almost a third what it was at that time.
Okay. All right, this is going to be a public hearing at 7 o'clock. This is open to the public at 7 o'clock. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak on this item? Anybody in the Zoom? At 7:01, we'll close the public hearing. And like the last time, we had to recuse ourselves because of, this is a general now, so we don't have to worry about that. So this is for the city. So any questions of, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that this covers almost the entire city, just except for Pasadena area.
Any questions of Jeff? Please.
I'm just curious, why the rates decreased so significantly from 2015 to now.
Yeah, that's a good question. So back then, the PG&E was going through an upgrade of the system. So they had some additional charges. They were changing all the lights out to LED. Now the LED charges, it's less electricity to run those. So the charges have changed. They've all been switched out to LEDs. So we don't have those capital improvement costs up front. So that's why the prices have reduced, because the energy costs are lower for LED compared to the incandescent lights.
Any further questions? Okay, now is there a motion to adopt resolution 2025-45?
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-45.
There's a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Costa Junior is absent. Councilmember Fernandez,
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez, and Mayor Julian.
Aye, all ayes. Resolution passes. Thank you, Jeff. Okay. All right, next item is a request from the Capital Campaign Committee and the Guadalupe Community Action Coalition to establish an oversight committee for the Royal Theater renovation project. Phil, are you?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Todd asked me to fill in for him tonight.
Okay.
At the July 10th, 2025 meeting of the Guadalupe Community Action Coalition, members of the Capital Campaign, the Royal Theater Capital Campaign Committee were asked to join the meeting. And there was a discussion. I was not there, unfortunately, so I don't know. But at some point, there was a decision made to request that the city council form a dedicated oversight committee to ensure transparency, accountability, and alignment with community and donor expectations. The city administrator and the finance director apparently recused themselves to avoid any quote conflict of interest. I would like to clarify that I wouldn't have used that terminology. It's commonly used, but it would have been, there's no financial conflict of interest, and it would have only been a bias. Yeah. So it's not really a conflict of interest. But nonetheless, I'm not sure if the members of the CCC or the other members of the GCAC board asked them not to participate in the decision or not, but that is what they decided to do. Maybe Janice could fill in about what happened if the council is interested. The staff report pretty clearly outlines what the proposed oversight committee would do. It would be an advisory and a monitoring body, working collaboratively with the project manager and reporting both to the city council, the campaign committee, and the GCAC. The responsibilities include reviewing project timelines, budgets, and scope changes, ensuring alignment with fundraising objectives and donor intentions, advising on design, construction, operational milestones, facilitating communication between stakeholders and city staff. And the recommended composition would include representative from the campaign, representative from GCAC, member of the city council appointed by the mayor, community member with experience in construction or capital projects, representative from the arts and or cultural community, and a staff liaison member, non-voting. Meetings would be held monthly or as needed, and the minutes would be shared to publicly ensure transparency. And I would also add that it's likely that it would have to comply with the Brown Act. I did not have a chance to really look into this. And since I didn't know what the council's intentions would be, I didn't spend the time doing that. But depending on how the committee is composed, it could very well likely be a Brown Act body like the Rec and Parks Commission, an advisory body that, even though it would have a limited jurisdiction and it would not be ongoing, it'd still be required to comply with the Brown Act. Obviously, the fiscal impact states so there's no direct financial impact associated with the formation of the committee, but there would obviously be fiscal impacts. Once that happens, there'd be another layer of oversight and staff having to work with another body, although that might be offset by some of the duties that the committee would take. It seems that from what I can gather, it looks like they're going to basically either assist the city staff with the duties, like working with the project timelines, budgets, scope changes, or they'll be assuming some of those duties in some way. It's a little unclear. The city staff chose not to render an opinion, to remain neutral, let the council and the community make this decision. Of course, if council wants staff's opinion, they can ask for it. I don't know what that opinion is though, since I'm not a member of staff technically. So the alternatives are to not approve the formation of the oversight committee for whatever reason. Direct staff to explore alternative oversight mechanisms, or defer the item for further review, or direct staff to commence forming an oversight committee either as outlined in the staff report or in some other way that you might direct. That concludes the report.
Thank you. Any comments so far from anybody sitting here on the council? Please.
Philip, when you were talking about where it says the note here, city administrator and finance director are members of the GCAC, and you said not to use the word recused. Are you saying that those two positions could not be on this committee if there was a committee?
Well,
or that they couldn't decide to go further with determining whether a committee was necessary? I'm confused on the recusal or not being involved in go ahead, Janice.
Janice, maybe she was there.
At the GCAC meeting, we took a vote as the board, and to even bring it to council. And that's what we recused ourselves from, Todd and I and Whitney.
Give us, for the interest of the public, tell us who's on your GCAC.
It is Todd Bodum is the president. I am the treasurer and secretary. We have Michael Jimenez. We have Garrett Matsura. We have Dr. Hendel, and we have Robert Diaz and Deborah Sykes that were newly added.
And then the other committee,
The CCC
yes.
is Whitney Burness and Melanie, I always call her Michelle, Melanie Backer, and Mira, I'm sorry, I don't know Mira's last name. Ramirez? Oh, Mira Ramirez.
Okay. And I have a bunch of questions and comments. I think it's a good idea. The reason we want to, just a second, the reason we receive the money is to redo the Royal Theater and the performing arts side of things. And that's the goal, regardless of how we get there. Sometimes it'll sway one way or another, depending on dynamics of who's involved. What the biggest ticket is, how much it's going to cost to make this happen. And I know that there's going to be a walkthrough soon in terms of the project that went out. So one of the things that, and I do believe that there needs to be some type of interaction with the project manager and the community and the city. My concern would be how we, there's items which, for instance, there's a request to have one community member with experience in construction or capital projects. I've had some experience with capital projects, and when a designer and a contractor and those professionals weigh in on how one should build a building, when you have someone that may not have that capacity in terms of knowing construction to challenge a professional, a licensed professional, say an engineer or a contractor. So I have a concern with that. And it says one community member with experience in construction. What does that mean? Because I carry a tool belt, I can build a sign. So that has to be defined. The other one is I know you have representation here, but in terms of like Phil is mentioning, what does that create for us in terms of another layer of responsibility of having to check a box? This effort has been going on for quite a while, and it's quick moving. It moves by the second in terms of what has to happen, the signatures and things like that. So again, I see the need for it says transparency. I don't think, personally, I don't think that, I sign off on a lot of these things. And I'm as transparent when we have the designer here, we're talking to the designer about how that project should go, and it's approved by us. The project manager is a contract with the city in terms of what he does or how he acts and the approvals that he needs to get from us. So again, I think that there probably has been some miscommunication or the inability to sit and talk with the parties that are really concerned about this, and people are concerned about it, including the city. So there's one of the things that I noted here is that, has this effort been expressed to the project manager?
Okay, so, and that was just today. Because I posed the question via email, because that was my concern that, we're bringing this to you, but we have not told, well, I wasn't sure if we had told Tom or not. So Robert had reached out first. I think he called and he wasn't able to get through, and then he got a chance to talk to him. So if he wants to comment about it, he can come up. But that was to the extent of talking to Tom about it. I don't think he has prepared anything regarding this either, because it was just today.
So there's I know there's request to speak, and everybody will get a chance to speak. Let's see, if this was created, who's going to be the point person?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was a question to
Who's
staff.
going to be in charge?
That it's not clear, obviously. I'm looking at the report. It says it's recommending an advisory committee, but also monitoring function. So I'm not sure, again, how that would play out. And that's one reason why, there's not really a recommendation to just go ahead and adopt this. There's a, couple recommendations to kind of explore it a little bit further, do some further review to figure this out, how this is best going to work. The way I figure it's like, it would be like the Rec and Parks Commission is probably the closest thing that we would have, that is there to basically do some stuff and then report and advise the city council on that stuff. And that would be similar to this oversight committee. They would be basically a liaison between staff and the city council, but another perspective, maybe like more community involvement than the capital campaign. I mean, the capital campaign committee was, designed to function on one thing, which is raising money for the project. GCAC is not involved in anything other than just accepting the money, but it obviously has potential function in the long term for the Royal Theater itself. And one of the reasons it was created was in the event that it could possibly assist with historic tax credits, that whole thing. That was one of the reasons it was created. So right now there isn't a community body that could advise the council, although perhaps the council may not consider it necessary to have a community body. They could just have periodic meetings about this and staff could report and people could come and talk to you. And like I say, staff's not taking an opinion on this one way or the other. But I'm coming from the outside, not having been there and just looking at the report, trying to figure out how this would translate. And sitting here, I see a Brown Act body, unless it's changed considerably from the scope is limited to a smaller function, then we could maybe not have it be a Brown Act body and still perform some of these functions. But my take is that it would require Brown Act and then, maybe some support by staff, which would increase that. There would be some fiscal impact to this.
I know that Todd put this on the agenda, and I know that he wasn't planning on be here. I don't think it was a quick hit, and I know you're doing some good lawyer talk. You just have to walk around not knowing the specifics. So before I open it to the public, which is public comment, is there anything anybody would like to say?
I mean, I have a lot of questions for Todd. I wish he was here just because I feel like he's going to be doing double the work he has to meet with the GCC committee. And then again, so I just really would like to know what that fiscal impact may be on Todd. But did you mention that this could possibly go under the Recreation Commission?
No, that's not what I meant. I was making an
Oh,
analogy that,
okay.
like the Rec and Parks, that's a Brown Act body. They have public comment, they have meetings that are public, there's an agenda, there's minutes. It would be like that. That's what I meant.
I think one of the things was, and this was brought up from the CCC, that the feasibility of the project, one of the comments was they were still unsure of the financials. And how are we going to earn this money? Or do we want to try to earn this money for the Royal Theater? That's one of the reasons why they wanted us to come forward with a oversight committee, is so that they feel comfortable going to donors with something solid. That's the take I
I know
got
that
from-
Whitney's part of that. Do you have any?
Yeah, I have comments.
Are you
Go ahead.
There's shit more. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I was just
please.
gonna say that the CCC and the GCAC met twice, and it was actually the GCAC, one of the members of the GCAC, that suggested an oversight committee, not only for those in the at the table, between those two groups, but also to, as Phil said, to be a liaison where we can actually get some more information and provide it to the community. There's many people volunteering between those two groups, volunteering their time and have a vested interest in this project. And they want to volunteer their time to learn information about the project. It's taken quite a bit of pointed questions to get information for the CCC specifically, which opens, the can of worms or more questions, just to get that transparency for the project. So a small group. Now, the group members that Todd suggested in the report were never really established at that meeting. They were just kind of, I'm not sure where they came from. I think they're an example. But yeah, there definitely is a need from the community, or a desire from the community to have a body of folks that can glean this information and not just be the three of us, really kind of asking these questions to get it, just kind of working as a group together. Actually, the CCC and the GCAC it's been a pretty cool relationship so far. I mean, it's a lot of people with, similar and different views coming together and talking through some issues. And we just thought that instead of it just being a financial thing, there could be a group of people that would actually get the project moving. So.
I think it's a good process, just a matter of how do we get there. So.
Yeah,
Mimi-
no, I just wanted to comment when I first read through this and I looked at the proposed makeup of the committee, it looked pretty cumbersome. Kind of to what your comments were, Mayor, and your comments as well. I don't argue the fact that an oversight, I don't know what you want to call it, mechanism, body, committee kind of doesn't quite sit well with me. It's sort of like another committee, another one. But some degree of oversight, which is not to ding the current project manager. I would say whoever was the project manager, I would strongly support some degree of oversight simply because of the scope of this project. And we're a small town, everybody's looking at it, what's happening, so I don't have any recommendations at this point, what that oversight creature would look like, but I would support some degree of oversight.
Mr. Mayor, if I could respond to Councilmember Villegas, the government code does provide kind of an exception, a limited exception for an ad hoc committee that doesn't have to be a Brown Act body. I'd have to take a look at that and see if it would meet your objectives, especially yours, Councilmember Villegas, about more of a mechanism than like a committee with people coming and talking and, agendas. But that is a possibility, and I could, if you defer action on this, we can report back on a possible framework that would meet that exception.
I think even given what's recommended here, I know this is probably off the wall stuff. I actually had two individuals that I wanted to, mayors can't appoint one. I had two that I wanted to appoint because I think it's a good idea. And I think an ad hoc committee interfacing with the project manager and the city is really important because there seems to be a lack of trust in what we're doing, because finance department signs off on all the disbursements. I sign off on all of the contracts, and I get information from the project manager in addition to city staff, in addition to other people. And I don't want to have said to me that I'm not transparent. What we talk here on the council side is basically what we approve is the resources that we have before us, and we need to be successful in this. So if there's no further questions from this side at this point, I'll have Mira wishes to speak. Ramirez.
I just wanted one point of clarification, which is the Capital Campaign Committee is actually larger than the three of us. These are just the representatives that have consistently shown up, but the actual committee, I think you have on record at whatever meeting that was approved, that initial list of people who submitted a interest form. So I just wanted to point of clarity that that's the official list of people that are on the committee or expressed interest. Okay. I'm not sure what meeting that was approved at, but hi everyone, my name is Mira. I'm on the Capital Campaign Committee, and I'm kind of going to actually speak out of turn of my planned comments based on what was said tonight. I realize that there's a lot of questions about how the actual oversight committee would look like, and I just want to say that I'm in favor of any type of oversight body that can come in and look at this project. I think that over the past 2 years, it's been increasingly challenging to get accurate and updated information on the Royal Theater and the efforts of the city to refurbish both the existing building and the addition of a community arts center. And as a member of the Capital Campaign Committee, we have been diligently studying both the financial numbers and the current project requirements. And we do have concerns about the feasibility of the completion of this project. Based on the numbers that were provided to us, the city has spent approximately $3 million on this project so far and has about 6.7 million in available funds to complete the total project. Although these numbers seem to require some additional information. It was also recently shared that the EDA works on a reimbursement basis and is needing 50% in matching funds. I think these are examples of why it's really important that we have an oversight body who's really looking into what these requirements are so that accurate recommendations can be made to both the city and the community about what next steps are needed to really push this over the finish line. I realize that some of this could be inaccurate, but that's why I think this body is really crucial. And I just think that, as the city administrator said, the establishment of this oversight initiative, whether it's a committee or, an ad hoc situation, is to ensure diligent oversight of resources, increase community trust, and support success of the project. And I just really can't imagine a governing body who wouldn't be for all of those things. So I hope that something comes out of this meeting that works to provide that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm timing you all, but you could go over it if you want. So, Robert. No, you're next, sir. Yep. I got your number.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Robert Diaz. I am a board member of the Guadalupe Community Action Coalition. And here just really to kind of support, the recommendation there. For clarification in regards to the details of that, that was Todd, doing his best to take care of a very lively conversation and put forth, but those are just recommendations. And really, we expect that, the city will really truly consider this and find what the best way forward. For the GCAC, the Guadalupe Community Action Coalition, for those of you that are not familiar with the acronym yet, I'm still getting learned to it. We want to see progress on this project, no matter what it looks like. We're here till the end to provide support in any way we can beyond just our fiscal pass through, whatever that looks like as the nonprofit partner of this project. And we like to see kind of more not transparency so much in the sense of things are being hidden, but an intentional transparency, more of intentional outreach to the community around this project, and finding through these mechanisms that maybe put forth a way to do that in really the easiest and most accessible way. This is a huge project, as we stated, and we are trying to get the community at large to be a part of it. But I do believe that in of itself, as it's being presented, is too complicated and does need to be simplified for more accessible access and understanding. I believe that's going to be the only way to garner community support moving forward, to really see this project to completion. And we at the GCAC, no matter how it ends up, we believe this project will be done and done well. So that's it.
Thank you, Robert. Okay. Melanie.
Hello, Mayor and everyone else. Yes. In terms of Todd's notes, we didn't discuss clearly, one representative. That was kind of Todd's suggestion. So I just wanted to make it clear, we were just discussing that. I mean, our biggest concern coming in with the CCC campaign is we've only got $6 million, and we have to go basically raise the rest. And the EDA we have to match those funds as well. And it's just so much money. So we did talk about at the meeting, getting an advisory, and Whitney's correct that someone from the GCAC recommended an advisory committee. We also discussed the idea of both groups meeting with Tom together to go over with our finance person, to go over all the numbers and everything, so that we can even go out and try and raise money. Another big, I think, a free resource that we have is that Mira and I, both part of the CCC, we know experienced construction project managers, one in Santa Barbara, I think both are in Santa Barbara County, that are willing to look over all the numbers and everything, and the design and everything for the Royal Theater for free. Just another people who have already been project managers for construction companies, they would look at this for free. And I think I wish the city would give us permission to show these materials, to get some outside advice, because nothing has happened in the past year I know you're going out to construction, but we've wasted over a year. And it was a year of capital campaign financing, and now it's going to be triple hard to raise money. So I can please consider a free other project manager to look over everything. Thank you.
Were you raising your hand? You were just scratching your head. Okay. I think that this is a premature process in terms of, and I'm not going to throw Todd under the bus, but I think he was doing his best to put minutes down in terms of what was requested by both entities. I think what we need to do is to actually look at an ad hoc type thing to stay away from another committee or another potential Brown Act violation effort. I don't see that happening if we do it the right way. So Phil, would you, and this is my comment, would you look at this to see what would work without going around not so much going around, but not having a need? We still have our finance person that's here. We got to have the finance, we got to have Todd involved in this whole process, and the project manager also, because he's contract with us, so.
Yeah, I guess, Mr. Mayor, I was trying to cheat a little bit while listening to the comments, but also the corner of my eye looking at the Brown Act requirements. It is a narrow exception. I'm going to have to spend some time looking at it, but I think there is a way that could meet the goals of what the CCC and the GCAC kind of want. Some kind of oversight, but informal and advisory. I think there's a way to do that, but I do need some time to look at that.
Now, I think the council needs to be the glue that puts together the concerns of the GCAC and the capital campaign committee, and also the project manager, to see where we can see what the issues may be. And I think we need time. And I don't know who's the spokesperson. I think you're in the capital campaign. Are you the spokesperson for that, for the capital camp? No?
No.
Okay. All right. And who is a GCAC spokesperson? Is there, that's you? Okay. I think, Robert, and Tom is in back of you, and I think that it's time for a chat in terms of, and with the city staff, with Janice, Todd, Robert, and I don't know if you would be willing to.
We don't have a spokesperson. We never had anybody take over the role, so I never wanted it.
Okay, all right. So-
But I will if
Mira, you're on that. Okay, would you be willing to sit and, okay. So
Yeah,
what
sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, in the meantime, what I'm hearing is that you're suggesting that rather than wait for us to formalize the plan, people should start talking to each other now.
Exactly,
Okay.
and then go to our next meeting to see what transpired from those discussions, and put it back on the agenda real quick in terms of what is it an ad hoc group, or is it a sit and chat type thing where all the parties are involved, including the city, the project manager, and those expressed concerns. So. How's that sit with those spoke? Okay. All right.
Is there any other council comments before I try to summarize what your direction is?
I just want to note that I don't want the Brown Act restrictions or, anything to stop us from moving forward with this. I would rather deal with that than not have some sort of body.
Understood. I didn't say this, but I seldom present one option. I always present alternatives when they're feasible. And if the restriction is too narrow for what you're trying to accomplish, I will let you know that and say the Brown Act option is the only option to accomplish that goal.
I just want to make that clear. Thank you.
So just to summarize, you would like me to look into options,
Right.
to how a committee could be created, whether it's a Brown Act body or it's not. And in the meantime, have the players that have expressed an interest in this kind of meet with staff and the project manager to at least start a
Exactly.
dialogue.
I don't know, Tom, you didn't have a request to speak. Is there any comments that you would like to make? No, okay. but we need to get together. So this. Can you? You have to come up.
Bit of a stickler for rules. So I'm a little concerned that, for example, Robert, who I spoke to, and I'm really glad he's on the nonprofit. But the bylaws of that nonprofit say that every board member must be approved by this council. And they have not been approved by this council.
No, that's
Right?
not true.
Have they?
Yeah, they, both
Okay.
of them were.
Both
Deborah
approved,
and Robert,
yeah.
they were nominated at the last council meeting.
And then the other concern is that fiscal impact says no impact, and in truth, there is a.
I did mention that there would be
Yes, but
after the,
it's also mentioned to me. It sounds like a lot of the impact is me, so it's going to increase my billing.
certainly,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Just be clear on that. Thanks.
And Tom, there's no, you're willing to work with these folks.
Yes, it's my job.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up with, so the viewing audience out there can hear.
Kind of unrelated, but I know today was when the potential interested construction bid were going to come to the Royal Theater for a required tour. Are you able to share how many interested?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Got it. Okay. Will it be?
I don't know who's interested. I don't think anybody.
I don't
knows
know.
that.
I don't think it's confidential information.
Yeah, I don't know it.
I don't know the number.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, he'll repeat that. Okay.
Yeah, we're having the pre-bid meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Royal Theater. So if people from the community want to just see what's happening, they can show up too. We'll have a lot of contractors there. And everybody that attends has to sign in on a attendee list, and that gets published to our city website. So it's open, so everybody knows who was in attendance, especially important for contractors so they can see who potential subs might be and their
Right.
competition will be.
That's a good point, because you have a contractor and you have a lot of subs or a lot of contractors that use the same subs.
Yep.
So it's good to have them all to see who's doing what to whom, basically. So thank you, Jeff.
Yep.
Thank you, Mira, and everybody else that spoke. Any other comments from the council or staff?
I just want to thank everybody that came. I think the Royal Theater is very special to all of us, and we all want to see this succeed. And so just thank everybody for coming, and hopefully we get some clarity in order for us to continue to move forward on this project.
Good. All right. Future agenda items. Can we bring this back up next? You're gonna have enough time to look at,
I hope so.
okay,
The next meeting is August 12th. Unfortunately, I have
how
to,
about the 26th?
yeah, I think that's more likely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I'll be here on the 12th, but I'll be out of town from the 1st to the 10th. I mean, I'll be on my emails and usual. I just won't be physically present in California. I'm going back for a visit to see my elderly parents, you know.
Okay, cool. All right, any future agenda items? Seeing none. Get organized here. Where am I? Council activity reports.
I'll just mention that, as was mentioned before, the Escalante Meadows ribbon cutting is excellent, absolutely excellent. The number of people that were there, I was quite surprised. It was to start at 10 o'clock and I got there about 10:02, and virtually all the chairs were empty.
Yes.
And I thought, where are the people? They were sort of milling around, and there were quite a few. I wasn't able to tour the furnished apartment or the vacant apartment to see how things were, but I did look at the Child Learning Center. which I thought was adorable.
Wow.
It just was so cute, the little furniture, the little tables and chairs, really, really nice. I also took pictures and I sent to two of my brothers who live in Santa Maria. They kind of knew that this was happening, obviously raised here as I was raised, but they've been away from Guadalupe for a long time, even though they're just in Santa Maria. And I showed them pictures and they were extremely surprised. Both of them text back and said, "Are these the projects?" And I said, "Yeah, this is the new projects." So it was a very well received event. I'm very pleased that I went.
They served 200 meals, so yeah. Yeah, they were good. How about you, Winnie? Christina?
I attended the Kite Festival with my family and we had a really great time. We're looking forward to next year's event. So thank you. Shout out to the Park and Recs and the volunteers that made that happen.
I had, I think, is that it? We had several meetings. One last, I even forgot the days. We had the County Riding and Hiking Trails Advisory Committee. Each individual, each supervisor appoints someone to the riding, to this group, County Riding and Hiking Trails. And they probably met here. I can't remember the last time they met, but they were all here, all the representative, the committee members. In fact, there wasn't one from the 5th district, which we need to get going. But they basically, there are a lot of riders, a lot of horse riders. I'm not a horseman, but there's, especially in the San Ynez Valley area. So that was a good group. There's what teed into that. There was it's called Guadalupe to the Dunes Multi-Use Trail Feasibility Study. And that was through the Coastal Conservancy jurisdiction. Out of Proposition 4, as we may know, that was just passed, there's $10 billion of money in there that hopefully we'll get some of that. But the Coastal Conservancy gets 1 billion of that. And so their goal is to actually on the coastal have access to the coastal area for the communities. And one of the things that they brought up was actual there's a study done in terms of what's the easiest way or what's the best way to get Guadalupe to the coast. And one of the highlights is actually having along the levee from Santa Maria to here, but from here to the beach along the river on the south side of the river. So was the most predominant request. And the Coastal Conservancy is looking at how do we obtain money to be able to do that. So there's a couple of individuals that not the Abernathy, but Ernie Desgasperis, their family owns a couple hundred. In the past, before he literally passed, the county actually looked at acquiring 15 acres of his 200-acre parcel adjacent to Leroy Park to actually create a day use area or a camping area, a trailer, not a trailer park, but a RV parking there. That was before the COVID. So they're still looking at that. And I think there's some interest in that realm. On another note, at SB CAG meeting this past Thursday, and of interest to Guadalupe is several projects. And I mentioned before that there's probably $89 million that's gonna come into this area that actually touches Guadalupe in the next 3 years. And just briefly, I'll go over a couple of things. One is State Route Guadalupe Management Program. That's from in Santa Barbara County to in Guadalupe on Highway 1 from the junction of 166 and 1 to Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo County line. And David knows all of this. That's going to be about a $2.7 million project. That's a class 2 pavement with maintenance strategies and replacement signs and panels. That's all. They're going through environmental process, but that's not until the spring of 2028. The State Route, you see workers on the bridge project. So that's State Route Santa Maria River Bridge replacement. that they're working on that now. So that's a $62 million project. And you'll see that happening within this year, hopefully. And there's another project, State Route 161 and 166, the Guadalupe ADA. And that's in Route 166 to just south of Santa Maria River Bridge from the basically cemetery that way. ADA infrastructure improvement. So that's 6.2 million. That's also going forward in the fall of this year. And the big one for us is the State Route 166, Guadalupe, Santa Maria, Railroad 166, permanent pavement and cutout ramps, curb ramps, and that's due in the summer of 2026. And that's 18.3 million. And that's working with the Union Pacific Railroad and Caltrans to make that happen. It's too bad that's not happening now because that would put the signalization there at Obispo Street. Caltrans, when they were here several years ago, probably 4 years ago, there was Caltrans's thing now is to put roundabouts. And Black Road, basically the farmers didn't want a roundabout there because you have a cooler that's right there. What's it called? Is it going? That's not going to the cooler. Well, anyway, the cooler is there. They didn't want a roundabout. They wanted straight traffic. Caltrans's position is that you don't get T-boned on a roundabout. You get maybe side hit. So there was a proposal for Obispo Street to do a roundabout. And the roundabouts are probably now, what, 6 million? There's $6 million for a roundabout. And at that point, it was $3 million for a roundabout. So because of Taylor Farms and that curation, they basically said, we don't want a roundabout. What happened is that on Amber Street, if those familiar with Amber Street, they would have had to purchase those two houses and tear them down for a roundabout. Although Caltrans said that they could have done it in a smaller roundabout. But the vote from the council and the SB-CAG was to actually, and Caltrans at that point, was signalization. So those are big projects. They're coming, like I said, by the end of in several years, we're going to see a lot of things going on. A new bridge that's going to start pretty quick. So that's my report. Where are we? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you, audience.